So, Healing Protection Creation had made a comment, the following, an article in the Telegraph today, Tuesday the 7th of May 2024, men to be targeted in workplace for health checks. And it is a thing, yes indeed. Mirror says offering free health checks in the workplace could be the way forward for improving men's health, a minister has said. Maria Caulfield also confirmed there are no specific plans for the government to develop a men's health strategy. Yeah, that's an odd thing to say, and I would argue behind the scenes that it's absolutely in the works, and there's no mistake, historically, that over time you have less and less independent businesses and more corporate-based, which is focused on, gets all the benefits, blah, blah, blah. Hence the reason why, Tesco's, Asda's, you name it, are so popular, because they get funding from the councils to invest in the area. Yeah, that kind of funding is generally not available to independent businesses, but it's part of that bigger plan of eugenics. And the reason I say all this, as an example, imagine if you are a male employed, for example, in Tesco's, and it becomes policy, or policies and procedures, which seems to, in some aspects, supersede law. Yeah, the rights of the individual, all the rest of it. Oh, but isn't it interesting? Corporations have the rights of the individual, but not the moral obligations. And it's never an individual. So you can never really pin it on anybody when their misdeeds go public. You could talk about this for hours, but let's get back to somebody, for example, working in Tesco's. All of a sudden it is made mandatory that they have to, because we're caring about people's health. And then on top of that, they then say, well, from insurance purposes, points of view. So all of a sudden you're getting prostate exams or tests for this, that, the next thing. Or you're just having a chat with the corporate doctor. And then they say, well, you seem depressed. In fact, we recommend the following. And all of a sudden you're on antidepressants, even although many of them are obligated by law to have on the side of the very containers may cause suicidal symptoms. And that's just the start of so many things that were never in your on your radar. Because somewhere in these articles, which is just copy and paste, is men are less likely to go to doctors. But isn't it interesting women are more prone to certain things than men? Could it be, as an example, just the fact that they interact with the NHS far more than history says you should? And remember, the NHS was only a thing that came about in the last, X amount of decades, really, in the big scheme of things, 40s, etc. plus. Previous to that, you actually looked after yourself because you realised it was going to cost you. Now, and especially the more decades into it, people will eat any shite they care to munch on, even although they know it's to their detriment, because they've been brainwashed to believe that the NHS will come out with these magic pills that will solve all that, or, the reality is never the case, because you have gone out your way through willful ignorance to shorten your life. It's a complex subject, but one with merit. So be aware of this, yeah? But I would argue that your health is your concern, yeah? And I'll speak to you soon.